Scotland, where 62% voted to stay in the EU. Let's speak to the SNP MP, Joanna Cherry. Thanks very much for joining us. So you lost. So tonight, are you prepared to embrace Brexit and celebrate the opportunities it offers the United Kingdom?
Well, first of all, we didn't lose in Scotland. We won the referendum in Scotland. We won the case for remaining, as you said at this intro there. 62% of Scots voted to remain in the 2016 EU referendum. Since that, in every single election, people in Scotland have voted overwhelmingly for Remain parties, and an opinion poll earlier this week showed support in Scotland for Remain at 73%. So we didn't lose. We're not willing to embrace it because we didn't vote for it. What we're here to do tonight is to protest against Brexit and to show that Scotland intends to remain in the European Union in due course. The only way we can do that is by becoming an independent country. And of course, the First Minister made a statement this morning about how she intends, as the country's leader, to take the case for independence forward.
But you said yourselves that this was a once-in-a-generation opportunity, that referendum in 2014.
Well, I never said it. With all due respect,
well, the SNP said it.
I never said that it was a once. Well, if you please just let me answer the question. Other people in the SNP said it in the context of emphasising the importance of thinking very carefully about how one voted. But of course, in 2014, the United Kingdom that Scotland voted to remain part of in 2014 no longer exists. That was a United Kingdom at the heart of Europe.
Yeah.
England has chosen to leave the European Union, dragging Scotland out with them.
Well,
and so, therefore, there is a material change in circumstance.
Well, the UK...
I can tell you I've just won my seat with a result. Well, let me just finish.
Yeah, so take your time. Take your time. Sorry, take your time. Don't worry.
In the general, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
In the general election, sorry, it's a bit windy here. In the general election at the end of last year, I increased my majority over the Conservatives from 1,000 to 12,000 in Edinburgh South West. And I can tell you I was out knocking doors for weeks on end in the constituency. And the vast majority of my constituents are very angry at being taken out of the European Union against their will.
Right, but look, Boris,
and I met many,
sorry
many
to interrupt.
people who voted no. No, if you let me finish the point. If you let me finish the point, I met many people who voted no in 2014 who now are reconsidering their position. The task for my party is to convince as many people as possible to that position. On the evidence of the opinion polls, we're doing rather well. But gone are the days when Scotland can be held in a hostage situation with England at the whim of England's votes as to our constitutional future. And I'm looking forward to an independence referendum in the not too distant future at which Scots will vote resoundingly for independence and resoundingly to be at the heart of Europe, where they belong alongside other nations such as France, Germany and the Republic of Ireland.
OK, if I can get a word in now. I mean, you're not going to get it, are you? Boris Johnson's not going to give you your referendum. So what are you going to do? I mean, is there a legal route, with your lawyer hat on?
Well,
is there a legal route to another referendum?
Yeah, as you'll be aware, I'm somebody who takes an interest in legal routes to making sure that democracy is respected. And I have repeatedly argued, in line with the weight of legal opinion in Scotland, that it is not at all clear that the Scottish Parliament doesn't have the competence to hold an advisory referendum. And I was absolutely delighted to hear this morning that the First Minister agrees with me, and I look forward to discussing that with her in due course.
So just to be clear, you think there is a legal route through, do you, to another referendum? Because, as I say, Boris Johnson...
Yes, I do, and the First Minister... Well, with due respect, this is not about Boris Johnson giving the people of Scotland permission. This is about the people of Scotland having the right to choose their own destiny. Boris Johnson can say no as often as he likes, but I could simply remind him, in the words of the great constitutional Irish nationalist Charles Stewart Parnell, that no man has the right to set the boundary on the march of a nation. And I believe Boris Johnson will realise that in due course.
Okay.
And I think that we will bring him to the negotiating table, and we will have a referendum that will be internationally recognised, and we will win it. OK,
just finally, briefly, if you can, you talked about the poll. I think it was 51% in favour now, 51% yes. I mean, that's wafer thin. And
yes.
The poll also said that most Scots did not want a referendum in the next year and also the year after that. So why don't you wait and see how things go?
Well, when we started the independence referendum campaign in 2012, we started at 28% and we got up to 45%. At one point, it looked like we'd got up to 50% and beyond. So I'm very content to be starting this campaign at 51%. And I'm confident that we will win the next independence referendum and deliver Scotland the right to choose its own future, and that Scotland will choose to be at the heart of Europe. So tonight is a setback, but above all tonight is about hope for Scotland's future.
OK, Joanna Cherry, thanks very much for your time and thanks for battling through.